Welcome to the Friends in Film podcast. My name is Janet Urban. I've been teaching Friends in Film for 15 years. I show people how to get into the film industry and work, how to become a professional. What you're going to learn from me is all the inside, unspoken stuff that you will not hear anywhere. Even if you've been doing background on film sets, you will not hear how to actually get inside and excel to these top positions in the film industry. As a director, as a DP, as a producer, as an actor. What you're going to learn here is all the stuff that film school doesn't teach you, that you need to know if you want to actually excel to the highest levels. See, we think that the film industry is so hard and that it's going to take us a long time to get to where we want to be. But what it actually is a bunch of small steps that you do that get you on film sets, that get you learning your craft and getting good at your craft and getting opportunities to do your craft so that you do it consistently and get called for it every single week. So come work with us with Friends in Film. You've taken the first step by listening to this podcast, and I look forward to enlightening you everything that you need to know about working in the professional film industry. All right, so we just finished one of my calls with my paying people in the craft certification program, and I wanted to share a little conversation with you. So in my program is an 18-year-old gentleman. His name is Derek, and he lives 5.5 hours out of Chicago. So he drives 5.5 hours to come to Chicago to get on film sets. Now, the first thing that's extraordinary about that is most people would not join my program and get into the film industry when they live 5.5 hours out of Chicago. Most people that email me will say, I can't do it. I live too far away. There's no film work around me. Instead, he hears me talk about how we get into the film industry, and he's like, oh, Chicago's only 5.5 hours away. I can use her program to get in. That's what I'm going to do. So he made the decision like that. And now he's working on film sets in Chicago. He's only 18 years old. He never told himself that he can't. He told himself like, oh, I'll figure that out. I can do that. So I love this attitude. That's the first thing that I wanted to share with you. The second thing I wanted to share with you is when he was in high school, they were studying film in this high school. Pretty cool, right? That's a very nice film school that had a film program. And one of the things that they did in that film program is people would do these low budget feature film shoots, and they would have the students go and work on these feature film shoots to get experience and get exposure. Now, these feature films were very low budget, and they were skeleton crew, but they were doing features, and it was a win-win, because the low budget feature film people needed like high school students to work on them for free. And the high school students were happy to just get hands-on and, start learning lighting and see how something was shot together and made into a feature film. So then he graduated, and a lot of his friends went to film school. Well, he did not go to film school. What he did is he did Friends in Film. And he started getting on actual paying film sets in Chicago using this program. Now, one of the methods that he did in my program, which all of our methods are proprietary, like we don't put them on this podcast because this is what we do to break into the film industry. And this is for Friends in Film people. So if you want to learn these methods, you can come in with us and then you can have access to them and you can use them to get into the film industry yourself. So what we're doing inside the craft certification program is doing methods that get us connected with people, that get us onto these big shows. In feature films and working on commercials. Like we're doing methods that get us connected and working on these big sets because that's where you make your career is on these big sets. So we don't spend a lot of time outside the business. We spend most of our focus and time and energy on doing what gets us on these big sets. So Derek shared with us today that he worked on a shoot through the Friends in Film methods, and the DP on that shoot was connected with the DP from Chicago Fire. So Derek got a connection to the DP from Chicago Fire through this DP that he had just worked with. He reached out to the DP from Chicago Fire using that connection. And I teach you guys inside my program to make these triangles. They're triangles of trust, where you get connected with one person and you know who they're connected with, and you use that connection, that trust that's already built with one person to now attach you to another person. That's exactly what he did. He properly used this triangle of trust. And now this DP from Chicago Fire now referred him to the production supervisor for Chicago Fire. That's another triangle of trust. So you see how one triangle led him into the big professional zone of the Chicago Fire, the TV show. And then from that relationship, now he's connected with a production supervisor who actually will now hire him for Chicago Fire. See, you can see how these triangles of trust work. And what is most important here for you to see is that it was a professional referral that led him to get into the Chicago Fire environment. And most of us are trying to send our resumes to Chicago Fire with no relationship, no connection, and it's never going to work that way because that's not the way the business works. The business works through connections, relationships, people knowing you, people having worked with you before and referring you, this is exactly what happened. He worked with the DP on another shoot that referred him to this other DP. And that person is getting him into Chicago Fire. So what's so amazing about this is that Derek is using our methods to get on professional sets and get paid and grow his connections by working on paying sets. That's leading him into Chicago Fire. How? Through connections, through relationships, because people know other people. So he's doing it the Friends in Film way, friends in film. So collaborations in film, relationships in film. This is how you grow the career. So he came out of high school and he's starting straight into the professional industry. The other people that graduated from high school are in film school. So they're sitting in a classroom. They're working on their own projects. They're learning lighting and all this from a professor that is not working on professional sets. Derek is learning on professional sets from people that are actually getting paid to do that job. He is learning from cinematographers that have been doing it and are successful in the film industry for 20 years and are doing it today. So he's learning the current methods on film sets that they're actually doing today, and they are learning from people that are not working in the business today, that are choosing to make $80,000 a year as a professor. Nothing wrong with that, but just see the difference. Like, one is actually learning from people that are getting the work, that are hot. And that's who I want to learn from, the people that are getting the work. Because what building a career is, it's how you are getting this work. Like, you have qualities and ways of doing the job and interacting and building the relationships. Like, that's what the career is. That's what you need to learn. What gets you the work is not learning the technical part of actually doing the job. What you want to learn is how to actually build a career and how to get hired all the time. So that is what Derek is learning, is how to actually do the job and get hired all the time by actually watching it happen in front of his eyes and helping out with that professional process. So Derek is doing it and the other students are still learning. Now, here's the other point about this, is Derek got referred to the DP from Chicago Fire because he was actually already on film sets and doing it and working with people. So he's getting opportunities. He's starting his career, which that's what we do inside Friends in Film. The other students that are in film school, when they meet a DP like this, what they're going to ask is, well, how do I get going? How do I get started? They're going to ask, how do I get started in the business when he is actually already working in the business? That's the difference. They will spend a lot of money on their education and still not know how to get in the business. And they won't have started any of the process to get into the business. See, film school teaches people how to make projects. It teaches you how to write. It teaches you how to do the job that you will not get hired for immediately. Friends in Film teaches you how to get on feature film and major TV show and commercial sets and learn by doing. So my world is film shoots, like Paris Hilton film shoots, like I just worked with Jeremy Renner film shoots. I just worked with Derek Gianfrance, who shot Blue Valentine. Just this last week, I worked with Derek, and he shot Drive with Ryan Gosling, and he shot A Place Beyond the Pines. And you have to get exposure to these people. You want to be on those kind of sets. And I teach you how to get on the real sets because that's where I am. I am going to teach you to get into the kind of work that I am doing, which is the big professional budget work, which is $450,000 per day. That's the budget of pretty much anything that's shot in Los Angeles. So it's the big stuff. That's where I'm going to teach you. Broadcasting school will have you working at a radio station in a little room with people that have been doing it for 30 years, and you're just doing menial tasks in a small little room. That's not the film set. They say radio and TV. Well, the TV is going to be news stations. That's not the film set where you're shooting feature films. So there's so many ways for you guys to get confused and spend your best years outside the business. And I just don't want that to happen to you if what you actually want to do is to work on TV shows and major feature films and change the world. I just know that the impact that you can have is not going to be working in a little newsroom. It's going to be writing stories and get them made into something that can change the world. Like the people that I work with, like Derek Gianfrance, who I just worked with. I love this guy. I work with Darren Aronofsky. I work with Damien Chazelle. I worked with Anton Fuqua. I mean, these are people that you want to be working with, and you can be working with them. But you need to position yourself to work with them. You need to get on these big sets and work with them. Really proud of Derek, and what he can teach us is, first of all, do what other people don't do, and then other people will be impressed and they will refer you to their best contacts because you're impressive. Derek driving 5.5 hours to Chicago, that's impressive. This young man has been getting on shoots himself, with the help of friends in film, but he has been doing it. He's been getting paid. He's learning grip. He's doing all these different jobs on set. People feel very comfortable referring him to the DP of Chicago Fire. He deserves that kind of connection. Other people that are just studying film and working in their own projects and wondering how to get in, they don't deserve that connection. They're not going to get that connection. They will not have the benefit of meeting somebody and then being able to get referred to Chicago Fire because all you know is your own projects. You haven't been on shoots building those skills and doing it for yourself. So therefore, I can't trust that you know what to do on these sets. So you won't get referred to these sets. Do you see the difference? So the difference is to position yourself to make it easy for people to refer you to get onto these big sets. And again, if it seems like too good to be true and these big sets are too scary and too big for you, that's just because you have not experienced it yet. And you can, and you should. You must go where you want to end up. You must go and start meeting people where you want to end up. So congratulations for Derek for stepping out there, doing Friends in Film and getting on shoots and blazing his trail, doing what most people do not do. I'm very proud of him, and he's a great example of why somebody takes off in the film industry. And the reason is because he's doing what other people don't do, and he's doing it through shoots, all through paid shoots. He's actually starting his career. What a surprise, which is what you should be doing. If you want to actually work in the business, you need to start your career, and you need to start it now. All right, everybody, have a beautiful day, and thank you so much for listening. Talk to you guys all later. Bye-bye. So awesome. You've just expanded your mind about the film industry. So instead of taking stabs in the dark and trying all these different things, how about you focus 10 months of you working in the film industry with me helping you? That would be our craft certification program. If you're interested in that, go to friendsinfilm.com/join and come in with us. That's friendsinfilm.com/join. I'll see you there.